Hey, what's happening? How's it going? Um, I just wanted to kind of give y'all a little bit of a teaching about Hypnotized Camp Posse for advanced lyricism and some things I discovered, and I used to always bob my head to that music I thought was really good, but I was like, one problem we have is the fact that there's Crips and Bloods and folks and all that. And then I realized that also that, if you get rid of the family element and everything, it will eventually degenerate down into like individuals, you know, and that was the goal. And we've already made about 70% of that goal in 2018, and that's all the goal was, for Crips and Bloods and folks and all that stuff, was just to create some scenes, that really have explained, how there's people in schools that look retarded and just, and it's just the result of people not paying attention and they're just getting their thing filled. It's like all they're thinking about is just being one of those jug plants that has the rain come and it catches the rain in it. It's like, come on, and that's just all the shit feels like. It's like somebody is just like, are you ready to make pancakes? It's like 1930 again, and everybody's just still, yes, I'd love to. And says like, yeah, I'd love to, homie, sure, And it's just, the thing about that is just that it sounds exactly the same. And, but we got it narrowed down to the word Hiru and how, if you take a plastic bag and you fill it up with water, about like this much of it, like, and then kind of tilt it, it's like an amount of water kind of pointing towards you in that corner. And to me, I've always felt like, my dad always said, that it was like you'd have to drink a barrel of yak piss, to prove your bravery over every single thing in the world, like if you lived up in the Inuit tribes and stuff. And I thought, if I really had, to drink a barrel of yak piss, it probably would be from yakking. So I just thought about, with my grandmother, and she had these two neighbors, she'd sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk on the front porch too, and I mean, I have to sit there and listen for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and I couldn't move. I was fucking paralyzed, and I have no idea what the fuck they were talking about, And anyway, I've just kind of, I wanted to just take everything apart. I'm seeing some things that have happened in my life that didn't go very well because I listened to that stuff, and all the music that I've made so far has actually been punching me this whole time. And I mean, like, when you get mad and there's no music and your ears feel itchy, you want to punch yourself in the face because Eminem says, I'll beat myself up. And I do that, just to help me fucking relax for a minute, because it's like my earphones just sit there and pound my ears, and when somebody is talking and they're saying stuff that I don't say, and it's like, and it sounds like some little kid from a little fairy tale game, as a little kid, just like, I'm ready to play a fairy, let's play, and that's what it feels like to me, when I listen to Juicy J and all those people in Hypnotized Camp Posse, and it's just that when you think of shit like that, it's not going to come true because you get molested by Jesus or families. I was like, just get rid of it and then be an individual, I was like, it's not about Jesus, man, because that is, if you talk about the devil now, well, we beat all the levels to what it was in all the other video games. And now, we realize that the devil was really just wanting to fuck Jesus more, without knowing, while you knew some other shit, I knew some really badass shit from these reflections. And, I just thought that, I thought the 3 6 Mafia was at the top of their game with that. But, I mean, maybe they haven't even paid attention. And they could just be thinking about being like Eve and being evil. And not notice just how gay it seems now, because, our feet, we just, after about 2007, it's like the bottom of my feet and everybody else's feet, like, got cut up about 1 inch, it was like the top of our feet, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm looking at these people walking around in Dollar General, and they got these feet that look like they got fucking armor as part of the foot, and it's about that high, and their foot looks like a goddamn sandal. And I'm like, that looks disgusting. And they're walking barefoot and shit, like buying whatever, or they just got fucking flip-flops and sandals. But those feet look so bad. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to just look at that. I was like, I can't accept that. I was like, that is not how that foot wants to be treated. Like, that has to look good. I was like, if you like something that's jacked up, that is not gonna help, because that's just saying, hey man, I'm on the subway and I'm in like one room with like 980 people, and let's look at something jacked up that's not supposed to be all like that. It's all fucked up looking. You're not supposed to do that, because it hurts your feet when it's jacked up. It hurts your feet when you look at feet that are fucking fat as hell. And you're like, man, you're shaking a big fat ass steak. Saying, I'm teasing this shit. You're like, man, I pluck these fuckers like turkeys and then I acupuncture them with a little bit of electricity. And man, god damn. And then I just thought about, well, just the fact that, it's sort of like this. I'm a little bit high right now, too. But, I mean, just think about it. If you look at a pendulum and something is just swinging like this, and then watch this damn video with the butt monkey with them, it's Jim Carrey. And you can just tell that butt monkey movie, like, if you watched it, I mean, you have to replay it, and you have to swear an oath to fucking replay it over and over and over every time you hear butt monkey. And I've heard that shit so long, when I was like, 12 years old, and it was like, I believed it, because I always wanted to, fuck a spirit forever, and, I was raised to anyway, because my grandmother, she was really, confident in her expertise, she was really wise, and she meditated a lot, and she gained a lot of insight, and she was my guide, and, she had me have spirit guides, and the one that followed me was a fucking, it was a lot of them, it was like fucking 600,000, but I mean, that was even damn, like, I don't know, it was like a white clover, that was like watching me the whole time. I studied how it moves, how it works, and just, I got my tattoo of it and everything, because I thought it was cool as hell. But yeah, I mean, it's just that when you, I read this thing, I think it was by Carl Jung or something, but it's a psychology thing. And this dude said that anything that you want, you'll face towards. And I was like, wow, that's a really good, suggestion. Because, like, if I was in class, I always felt like I got laid like that fast because I could just barely move and I could see the difference. And I just do them that way, and I just fucked like every girl in school because all I do is just barely move something. I could tell that I was already experiencing it because I played so many video games when I was a kid, and I used that to really make me more digital. And, instead of being like, fuck me, like how, mommy and daddy teaches you English and all it is how to have sex, be walked over by them, not learn anything and turn them on and just make a huge mistake and they fucking dismember your body as a little baby, and then you can't locate certain things with your eyes closed when you're a little kid and you're hearing stuff. You're like, where the fuck is this shit coming from? And I couldn't even see, with my eyes closed and know, like, peripherally where something was, and it's just that's why, because I was like, fuck you, and I fucked the shit out of somebody's ass and called him a bitch. you know, because I just didn't like being up somebody's ass, you know. I mean, there's nature, you know. I mean, there's a lot of different plants, and I mean, just imagine if somebody just is like this dude, and you know, somebody gets up his ass. Do you know how fucking pissed off he would be?
Hey, check it out.
I mean, just because like he breathes in a balloon of air that has good air, and he breathes in, you know, like one with bad, and he destroys it. You know,
You didn't get enough, Mr. Hero?
he breathes out good air and he gets rid of it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want somebody's head really up your ass when you turn away from somebody and listen to them. You know, and when you say that shit, like I mean, it just totally shows it. You know, just how he calls the dude a fucking butt monkey just because he has an artistic, you know, amount of something. Like, see, he has a darker paint that he can use on Jim Carrey. You know, just on how he looks. Like when we have kids and shit, and you can see how that looks like a better mix because he looks too fucking ridiculous. You know. And I mean, that's how you feel that shit. You know. And I mean, when somebody is up your fucking ass, you know, I mean, why would you have like shit running around? You always see these African girls with fucking huge titties, and they'll just be thinking of some shit like that, watching it on TV. You know, what if I had, you know, a fucking hamster up my ass? It'd be like a black, it's always a black girl. It's like thick as hell, watches lots of TV. Because I mean, nothing is funnier than like them having that much cushion and you can sit there and like start fucking laughing. And, you know, it's just like, you know, like, I don't know, I was getting my hair fucking braided, like, about 4 months ago. And it was by these Africans and this big girl, whose name was, like, Mama Hiti or something, you know? I was like, man, like, y'all come on. You know, but anyway, I got my hair braided, but I was trying not to laugh. And for some reason, I have crazy laughing spells, and I'll just start laughing and laughing and laughing at some shit like this, you know? And I mean, they shouldn't have made this fucking movie because it fucks it all up, you know? And I was like, if that is what I'm up against, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to want that to win. I mean, that just looks fucking stupid. But the thing is that naturally, you know, it's like when I play RuneScape, you know, when you click on an area, you know, your character will try to go there, but if it angles off and the building is like kind of slanted or something, he will like go to the side and he'll try to like skid on that way or that way, you know, and he tries to get stuck going in a straight line towards it. So I made it where everyone has to go to a straight line towards anything in order to just talk to me, and I did that my whole life, you know, and I made sure that nobody's going to be up my ass because I didn't really want to be here, but you know, I really had no choice. It was just a very good deal. You know, but the point is that I just didn't want to have something up my ass, and I didn't want somebody like talking and scared of something, and someone like starts shooting people and shit, you know, because it's very stupid, you know. And I mean, basically what I'm saying is that basically all that, I mean, that shit could just blow right over if you know, you just don't get high anymore and you don't smoke anymore and you don't drink anymore, don't do anything, and then listen to it then, and it sounds gay as hell because, you know, if you ever try to go close to that edge, which I've been forced to, you know, I had, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I had, you know, like a threesome and shit, and, you know, it was just three's company of, you know, 2 women and me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I was like, this is not right. It's not right mathematically. It was offered to me, you know, and it was not, you know, mathematically right. I was like, and just because I smoke weed, you think I need an extra girl? I was like, that's stupid as hell. I was like, what about that other person? He's just gonna look like crap, have nasty feet, you know? That's all I care about. You know, I just can't stand it when somebody's got nasty, fucking, moldy fucking feet. I can see how you talk and how, you know, people need to change their voice at some point, you know, and just be able to handle feet, and that's it. I mean, you can't just look at it and be like, man, that's a huge toe. I'm going to go over here and hide and act like I can speak Mexican. And that's all those girls do. They're like, dun, 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 and it acts like they're crazy and they just can't fucking stop it. You know, and everybody sees it, you know. And, you know, I mean, that's just what it went to. It's just that Mexican restaurant where I realized that. But, yeah, I thought their music sounded pretty shitty. I mean, if it was just, it is really feeling like, you know, they're just, you know, basically just selling ass fucking. You know, that's what it seems like. And just calling people a bitch. And Christianity is not going to help you, you know, because they're offering bars of soap so you can, you know, molest your child, you know. You can, you know, teach it bullshit. And, you know, hypnotism is, that's what hypnotism is. It's when you have a, you know, might as well just have, you know, a 15-inch dildo up your ass. It's probably about this long. And just really see how it feels. Or just have a, I don't know, get a rubber shape of a piece of shit that you shit out. Shit a real long shit. You know, like 12, 13, 14, 15 inches shit. And just feel that shit. And then imagine turning, you know, and that shit's wobbling under you, you know. And then, you know, you realize that somebody has a string and they're going like this with it. You know, it's also someone backing up and moving behind you like that. You know, if you think of a fantasy and then you turn away. I was like, that's not right. I was like, that's just pathetic. I was like, that's just, you know, you wanted some criticism. And I was like, well, you know, you need to suck. You need to fucking stop, you know, trying to have sex. I was like, you know, the thing about that music is that, well, you just need to admit that you are a fucking butt monkey, man. And just make a song. And just be like, look, you know, because every time the beat hits, he's fucking me when I hear this shit. You know, and that's just way, way too much, man. It's violence. You know what I'm saying? And just because I can't say anything about it because somebody won't, you know, pay attention to their sore toe that she stubbed, I mean, that's just not cool. You know, I'm like, just why make me go through all that shit? You know, and I thought I learned something from it. And I haven't even got to make it because I wasn't even allowed to. I was like, man, you know, it just doesn't feel like I wasn't. You know, but I couldn't really make anything that sounded like it. I mean, not without doing my own thing, which is what I was doing. But I'm just saying, you know, the way that those beats are, and the I've been, blah, blah, blah. You know, another thing about it is when you say I've been, you know, you do it twice. I mean, that's someone who just showed you something and fucked up and had an accident. You know, and because if you look at bellies flopping long enough, you can just see a girl like, you know, kind of feel her stomach, or she'll just kind of like plop it out, like 1, 2, you know, I've been all night. You know, when it does all night, then night. When it does that, you know, with kryptonite, I realized that that's not right because it has a triplet in there, and if it goes da 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 da, that means somebody trying to get up somebody's ass, and that stuff stopped that music because it was still made with that behind it. The vibe is the same vibe that was making Kryptonite. Is the same one that was making 3 6 Mafia's song. You know, I stay high, you know, and because of that, basically, I have to relearn all this shit again and basically tell myself that, you know, a pendulum and all that shit, you know, it just needs to be called out. I mean, they always act like they're going to jump you, you know, and it's really intimidating. Like, he talks to voices in his head outside. He tries to be as loud as he can. There's people that walk around the neighborhood still. And they're talking out of their mind, it sounds like, you know, but it sounds like they just blasted a shotgun through their own head and just kept talking, you know, with like the shit on the other side of it, boom, and it's like, you know, and it's just so loud, you know, and just the people that listen to it just look like they're faggots, you know, and it's just, you know, if you get offered something like that, it'll make you want to throw up before you can have it. And I mean, when someone forces you to smoke weed, and then you don't have anywhere to even relax anymore because it's just like no reason to do anything anymore. You know, everyone wants to just live longer. and not die, and they don't want to hear anything that's going to make them, feel the word shit the way I didn't hear it, because I felt like I was making my own music, and I didn't really feel like I made the music that they made. I thought my shit sounded way better than their shit, but, I wanted to have, just more of an experimental, varied approach and not know what's coming next. But I'm running out of time, man, and I just gotta say, I can't really like it anymore. I'll have to use that pendulum on you, man, because, I'll have to go back and rewind time and see how many times that has happened. When it gets rosy cheeks, I can tell. I can see people walking up to an item in the store and they want to buy stuff. I can see layers of people. And I zoom out far, and I rap battle every single person I see. Because you got like a kind of a closed mouth, it's like, but the thing is with them is that they made me feel like I was a chick that was about to get her ass beat, and I was going to kick his ass and fucking knock him out and then call the fucking hospital and call the police and fucking have him on the ground. And that's how I felt about 3-6 Mafia. Every one of their members, because I got bullied in school because there was two people that listened to this shit, and I had to sit there and smoke a cigarette. He calls me a bitch, and that's from the shit that guy was on. He was smoking meth, and that's what was delivered in the little baggie, and it was bullshit. It was complete bullshit, and I didn't want it, and I still liked it. That's how much bullshit it was. And it's just one idea. After I learned everything and went through all of it, and I always come out on top. I never sit there and bitch down to anybody, but the thing is yeah, I will. I will definitely bitch down. I just don't think that's funny anymore. I think it's retarded. I think it's just for entertainment. And, we're spiritual people, and, we're much more advanced than we think we are. But in that style, you have to be able to call yourself out, and say, this stuff's no good. Let's just get rid of this batch of this shit that I have, and let's make something new, because it's just so old. It's like having 40-year-old onions. Why would you have 40-year-old young onions, that somehow kept, they've still been growing in the basement. Come on, man. I just feel, like that's how I felt, and I made my first mixtape, and I hated it. I thought it sounded like shit. I was like, I want to be level 1 and work it up and get to like level 50 and go to 100. And I wanted to just keep releasing stuff, and I have a whole lifetime to do it, but I don't care about that. I was like, there's some kind of social rule here that's gonna make me die, if I don't like live longer, and find a way to basically help people understand their social rules, because it seems like, if you're social, you're really killing yourself, and if you're antisocial, you're really living, because you have to realize that when people smile, there's two different kinds of smiles, and you can only have one smile. No one actually will smile a second time to make you happy. So, you have to realize that, like in the orientation I am as a person and how I've realized everyone really is, if you go down to the most primitive scale, which is dogs, or bugs, animals, anything, you realize that, everybody looks at hardships as things that are actually good and full of pleasure, and things that have, accidents, seem to be good things. And I think that's bullshit. I was like, just get rid of it, because I've never felt any pleasure from it. People getting hurt and shit like that. I just can't believe that, all of that shit can spread everywhere. And, I did it on a micro scale. And, I gotta say, I just didn't like the way it felt. I just felt like I was stuck and I was trapped. I made a song called Smoking Warrior, and I didn't like it at all, and all the stuff I made before that was all about getting high, and, it just got me so bored and tired, because I was like, how is me just getting high gonna help? I was like, a Mexican high as shit, or just lazy as possible, pleasuring, feeling so much pleasure from all this pain as possible, and just barely hits one note on a guitar string that says he wrote a whole song. I have to believe that that dude actually did, because I have to know how strong this crap is, and I realized that really the tiniest imprint ever could just be like beep. And I just said one thing and it just happened to not really even be me trying at all. And it could be the awesomest thing that ever happened still, and I just think that's stupid. I'd rather just destroy something that starts to stink, rather than just let it rot. I mean, that's just retarded, man. I mean, yeah, that shit was awesome, but it was just taking random stuff and making percussion out of it. Maybe my stuff was. But I just think that they were just hardcore, damn gay. And, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's just that my ears hurt, and there's a little line that goes across it here, and I have perfect EQ in my ears. And I can tell, when the levels, hit those EQ parts that are hitting and lacking in areas. And so there's really not enough, focus in this part, where you're doing other metaphorical, and he can't just go to metaphorical and do it that way, and just no longer do it at all, because being metaphorical is actually going to, what they teach you, rooms are made of feet, and see, feet are also, Greek scales that are two different measures, up and down. But see, all we use is up. The top to the, well, it's like top to the bottom. So when you take a step, so you can't walk like this. You can't walk, top up, bottom, and take a step. Why would you walk like that? You want to look like a weird alien that's got backwards knees, looks like an ostrich, sticks his head in the fucking sand. I was like, that's just embarrassing for a fucking ostrich. That's when it sees you, putting your head up somebody's ass. And it's not comfortable for an ostrich to see that. So my point is that I think that maybe the Super Saiyan's bullcrap that we were looking at might have inspired me to want to be able to learn how to fly or make some energy or something. I can get my body to kind of light up now. I have to make it, distance and figure out where everything is and how it's speaking metaphorically, and it adds up to a physical equivalent of satisfaction, which feels like a little bit of electrical, kind of feeling all the emissions of things lining up. And I just think that that's a real thing instead of a hypothetical one, so I can go and smoke crack. Because I think that's retarded and it doesn't do any good, and if you do it, it feels like there's just one little ball of styrofoam in your head just bouncing around and it hurts. And it's just really stupid. And I just didn't like it. I think it's just a waste of my time, and, I mean, I can always go back to it and remember those times when I got high and smoked lots of weed. But I just think that it's a waste of my time. And it is. And, I'd rather have, like, a digital version of it. I think our bodies are strong enough to produce any chemical. So why can't we just do that instead? If somebody can fucking, tweak, wake up, America, people that do meth, are definitely not people that are tweakers. But they look like, they were actually not liking that crap because it almost kills you. And, they really did not want it at all. And felt forced. And it was actually, basically gay rape, because you have straight and gay. You see, when somebody's married, they have this children thing, and then they have a huge woman in front of you when you go to church, and she's just like, just standing there kind of waddling, weighs about 280, looks like she carries a lot of weight, can't say certain things to her because she's going to take slow time with her order, when she goes to get some barbecue, and you can notice how, that one girl is going to be so big that she just covers up everything, and then you're like, are you trusting the Lord and all that? And then, second coming, it sounds like he's still jacking off. So I was just thinking, well, if he's going to tell me again what I just told him not to fucking tell me, and he's still saying it, I think that building needs to fucking go away, man, because all he's doing is jacking off in the building and I can't see it. That's why all these people have gray hair. That's why they'll have all these wrinkles from indecision. Can't decide on how they want to keep their face. I mean, come on, just pick one sexy way to look and keep it like that. And then just angle off everybody else's face and look at it and be like, you know, I like my features and I like the way I push on things. You know, I can see how I press and, it takes the rest of my body to do it. You know, my whole body has to be compatible with my whole body. Like, this, is also every other part of my body that opens up and, it's made of me. Imagine how much energy it takes, to not feel like you're just pushing outwards. You could be pushing inwards when it's pushing outwards. Anything, man. I mean, like, seriously. I mean, why, But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wanted to make an ACE club, and just have it where people can, do some experiments based on learning physics. One was like learning how to be like a tree, and it's like, this is all the shit I ever listened to. When I listen to any music, it's always got this in it. I mean, everyone knows, that there's just so much data in our world, and I mean, there's so many things that people see, and I could just kind of take a peek and see how, a lot of people, that didn't want to just be for real and be like, I'm coming from where I'm from, and that's it. Wherever I feel like I'm from might not be where I was born, but, it feels like I was where I'm from. It feels like I have more purpose than just a little bit of nothing. It feels like I actually did choose it, or had to do it, but it was all right, and I mean, that's better than nothing. And, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make an ACE club, or something like it that is like a swingers club, because I always wanted to be in a swingers club. And, this dude named Brent Hunt had like 160 girls or 360 in his total tally, and he was a famous hunter. He had a lot of money. He was from South Carolina. Had a feud with my freaking grandfather, great grandfather. No, it was my great uncle, or just uncle. Yeah, his name was Uncle, and his name was Joe Kelly. But anyway, it's Joe Kelly, and I don't know. I felt like maybe I could be kind of against him too, because he took his property or something, and I just felt like Joe Kelly's, a big person. He needs health. When he sees somebody weak, he's gonna take what he needs. And I mean, maybe it's just about being wiser. Because I just can't stand, feeling like an idiot, and just because one guy had this huge plan that had everything I wanted in it, that some other dude, kind of like Joe Kelly or something, just a really wise man, Indian Cherokee wisdom, like, let's look at a little bit more about the science, because Indians seem to have already been trees and plants, and that's how they learned and went to school, and it was way smarter, and it was better, and it's still better than all these fucking buildings are, and I mean, they didn't really want it to happen, but all y'all were doing was just building buildings and just fucking killing everybody, and they're like, well, that's all y'all have done over there in Europe, for the past 600 years, so I was like, well, I just think that those Indians, really didn't have much else of an option but to just, become the buildings, so, like their names, they'd be like, my name is building, or my name, it always has the name of what you are. And, when you look at this room, I mean, somebody is this room. I mean, it's the only way it could have been built. Someone wanted and thought about, the spackling on the roof, the color of it, the shit in it, me in it. And I mean, wanted every last detail. And I mean, just one little piece of a detail, and needed it. It's like, man, that paint, like, I thought about that shit for like 100 years, you could just think about how they could have. And I mean, you just feel how, that recipe of those colors to make that paint would have been there. And you could just be like, damn, those people needed that fucking shit. But, and then, I'm thinking about how, these are square rooms and we have this, paradox right here where it looks like it's actually inside of a room. It's like our face could literally be in 4 different corners and it would probably make a fucking room, or at least our mouth, like, kind of like a drawn corner like that, you know, how that would go, like inwards, outwards, forwards and backwards, how it would push out against your face like a mask, or like push in on your face like a mask, and I'm not really sure. I just think of a lot of ideas, and I just don't think that selling dope and all that crap is even possible without having more than that to say. Because not only are you're looking at people that don't want to live anymore, you're killing people, or you have a huge long lesson to teach them, and it's really important or really short. That gives them everything they need before they buy something like that or not, and they wouldn't want to buy it if they could get something to learn. So I just narrowed it down to where, well, if he just kept going and going and going, like, he could still, like, do nothing, because there's nothing to choose, So I think that, just that type of music is probably just holding me back. It's like I have something intelligent to say, but that form of intelligence to me is not what I thought it was. So all those jokes about me when everybody got high and said, this dude is that crazy and I think he's fucking right. I was like, don't do that. I was like, none of my ideas are ever going to be good enough. Like, I want somebody to just find something better than what I'm thinking of and just fucking push it. Just one time. Don't be a bitch. Just because I can honk a horn, or call a cop, or see somebody, just, I've seen damn girls that, they just look like there's like a perfect mist coming off their face, it's like, oh my god, looks like horse hooves, like you pet a horse's nose and little cheeks. And you're just like, oh my god. She could just like breathe and it'd be like so beautiful. And then there's dope and methamphetamine right there ruining it. And just the teeth part. I don't understand too, that if I even mention this shit, they have some kind of clause where I owe them money because I agree that they sell dope or do, and I have to support that, and that's called worshiping the devil. I was like, so all you're doing is just sitting there telling me to damn suck Jesus' dick, or your dick, which is going to be Jesus because that's what Jesus was, You see how exposed Muslims are, like, let me see her weenie, is how it sounds in Arabic, That's what it sounds like when they're talking. The whole fucking language does because they're in the fucking sand. It's not why. It's not why. And, just, well, let me see your tongue ring. You're talking to a guy, man. Like, are you straight? That's like saying, are you Allah? Are you seriously going to look at that like that? Damn. I just think that it's just, religion in itself. The devil is just a little hidden way to get some more, ignorance and the Jesus. It's just so stupid. And I don't believe in the devil because, they're against, like shadow people and reflections and things that make, full force, physical supportive scaffolding, that creates who people are. You can't tell me that a man can stand there and that I can disappear, and my body will wrinkle. You said I'd agree to. And, you told me that, I have to say that I am disappointed in something. And then I have to give up and let another white woman speak, or whatever kind of woman it is. And then that person would fuck any other guy besides me. You know, and I think that's ridiculous. I wouldn't want them to fuck me. You know, I wouldn't want her to fuck me. You know, because that's rape. I mean, if you anybody but me is going to go to me the next time. And that's ridiculous. And then I have to sell that to people. I have to tell them, like, you know, you want to fuck. And then make somebody else want to fuck. I mean, that's just stupid. I wouldn't even want to have sex. I'm past that part. I know how to get pleasure without it. You know, and without killing myself and without, you know, forcing my body to destroy itself. And, you know, I just saw somebody on a bus that, like, because of my listening is so strong, you know, I have everything EQ'd. I know what came from me and not. I know when someone stole from me and didn't, you know, or put me in a bad position when I slip and fall, fuck up at work. And then some bitch is like, oh, fuck you, that's your problem. And then they'll dump their fucking problem on me. And I always watch every single problem, and I always get those problems. And they'll always drop some shit and fuck it up, you know, because they saw me and, you know, looked good. It doesn't make any sense. I was like, that's bullshit, you know. Like, I still don't see any attractiveness because of all this music percussion, which was hurting my ears when I heard it first. I just gotta say that, you know, it was really uncomfortable. And just to have to, I don't know how to explain it less. Just to have to sit there and listen to anything, it's like I was forced on me to listen to all this Disney songs. All that Chinese shit's horrible. It's even worse. Just because they have slanted eyes doesn't mean it's not like that only. It's like a bunch of Disney fanatics over there. It's fucking gay as hell. It's pathetic. And gay is stupid as hell. It's 1930s. All it is just being fake and fucking everything that you see and being completely oblivious until all you are is just some country kitchen, you know, Aunt Jemima syrup. You know, it's like all over your fucking hands. You're like, want to buy some? You know, and they're like, yeah, I want to get some. You know, and then they're just fucking. It's so stupid. You know, and every single word they have in their freaking household is like, you know, all the things like, you know, like you have milk and they're like, they tell like kids and shit, you know, you ready to drink some semen? You know, and it's fucking milk. I mean, you can do anything with just milk. Why the hell would you do that? You know, you want to drink some pussy? I mean, just look at it like, you know, you're saying what you haven't said yet. You know, people that made all this crappy music and the whole generation of country and R&B and fucking rap, rock and roll and Christian gospel and all that crap. You know, Christian gospel is just singing with a bat. 2 bats for your butt to use. You know, because, I mean, it takes your upper thighs to sing it, and that's all you can use. And it's like that, and it's irregular. It's fucking being raped. You being raped. You know, and you can't even, you're not supposed to be on an adventure. You're supposed to be able to pick what the fuck you're doing. You know, you're supposed to pick what is coming to you in life, and you're not supposed to be like, well, I don't know what's coming next. This is bad. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I feel cheated as hell, and, you know, I got with 3 or 4 different girlfriends. 13, I was forced to get a girlfriend. Just because this dude looks like freaking Tom and Garfield. I have to get with a girlfriend to make it look like I went to a school. That shit was retarded. You know, and just all that shit, you know. And the 6 months I spent from an Eminem song, and then 6 months from a fucking Disney Channel. Oh my God.